Good morning. Welcome to My Left Ear. It is a little bit solemn today because it's the anniversary of 9/11. I've had this hat for 20 years. I just love wearing it. But the last few years, I worry sometimes if people see God Bless America, they're going to think I'm a MAGA. So I'm a little bit careful, but I am proud to wear this hat today. So welcome to My Left Ear. If you're new, this is a left-leaning YouTube site with a lot of little spiritual bonuses and life-affirming stories. So welcome. And if you voted for not Joe Biden, if you voted for Donald Trump, you're not going to like this site. So you should just move on. I have no apologies. So anyway, My Left Ear. I do, about me, Carrie Freeman, I do psychic coaching, which is explained in something I email to people. But also there's a video on psychic coaching, and it's video number 34 that could be helpful for you. There's a video on my hypnotherapy practice, which is number 10. So you can look those up, and they're pretty entertaining and informative. I call myself a change agent because I literally help people change through the psychic coaching and the hypnotherapy. And I also do coaching with writing and performance, but hypnotherapy covers a lot of issues. And thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for the really nice messages of concern for this little accident. And if you know of anybody who might like this YouTube channel, please ask them to stop by and subscribe. Maybe they'll just listen to the meditation. By the way, I didn't get a lot of hits, but people really liked the meditation, and some people called me to work with me. So glad I did that. So glad I followed that intuition to do it. Okay, deep breath. Okay. I always like to start with that deep breath. Wanted to say a couple of things. On the meditation video, I taught everybody, or people who didn't know about it, 4+4 breathing. And I want you to know that you can wake up in the middle of the night and not be able to go back to sleep. And if you do a few rounds of that 4+4 breathing, it'll put you back to sleep. Also, if you're having anxiety, it quiets the busy brain. How does it do that? Your brain can't think about your problems when you're counting, breathing, and focusing. It just shuts off the thinking. That's why you feel better. It brings calmness. All right. Merrick Garland, he's kind of stepping out now. And I'll tell you a quote by Glenn Kirshner recently that I wrote down is that Glenn said, somewhere along the way, this abomination will fail. And he's talking about the draconian abortion laws, which are ridiculous. So as My Left Ear predicted, Garland is working on things. He's just stealth, he's quiet. Personally, I think he's concerned for his family. That's part of his stealthness right now. But he stepped up and he started to come out, and he dropped a little hint for us. So the DOJ is suing Texas over abortion rights. Really good, really powerful. And according to the lawyers that I've listened to, like Joyce Vance and Glenn Kirshner and so many others, the brief that Garland's wrote, or his people wrote, is actually, they said, brilliant. And when he made this little speech, which was just straightforward about suing Texas, the abortion, he did have a veiled message within that speech. As an associate of mine, Tom Joseph, pointed out, we agree on so many things, Tom Joseph and I, he has this wonderful podcast, is that Merrick Garland uses words very specifically. And even when he talked about suing Texas, he talked about their agenda being a scheme. And I went, That's interesting. That word was not by mistake. This man doesn't use a word by mistake. So he did speak a veiled message when he said, all insurrectionists, domestic or otherwise. So he dropped it in, domestic. So that was his little hint of, I'm working on it, folks. Felt it was big, and I wanted to bring it up. Because I too have been impatient. It's hard not to be impatient when you see just illegal, wrong, horrible things happening over and over and over again. But I'm pretty sure about this, about Merrick. Next up, you bet Joe Biden is angry, and he doesn't have to apologize for that. Jake Tapper, God, CNN came out and said, well, he was very punitive. It's like, oh, Jake, retire, please. Are you kidding? There's probably 800,000 people dead by now. There's children dying. And he was just a little, he doesn't get things done. No, he has guts. And he's not worrying about running again. I mean, I could be wrong, and he might run again. As I discussed with another psychic, we'll know a little bit more as we get closer. But right now, I actually hear, call me nuts, wouldn't be the first time, Jill Biden talking to him and saying, Joe, we have to talk about this. I don't know if we should do this for another 4 years. So that is a loving and concerned wife, because he'll be of a certain age, and a presidential campaign is Herculean. I don't know how anybody does it and gets sleep. So he's kind of acting like someone he's not campaigning. He's been patient, and finally he took the famous line, "Come on, man." And a little bore make my day. And when someone said, we're going to sue you, he just said, have at it. So in my own words, not Joe Biden's words, I feel like he's saying, I'm done. No more Mr. Nice Guy on this issue. We gave you a chance to get vaccinated. We gave you a chance. Boom. Okay. Here's really good news if you live in California, but even if you're just a Democrat or a progressive or an independent, you're going to be happy about this. We know, my left ear knows now, Larry Elder is losing California. He will not become our governor. It's life-saving, because Larry Elder would have turned California, or attempted to turn California, into Texas, into Florida, and it would have been horrendous. So we have to wait for, the proper channels, the voting, the counting, but listen, I'm sure. My left ear is sure. My left ear on Brett Kavanaugh. There's more and more, if you're not a Twitter person, there's lots of stuff coming out about Brett Kavanaugh on Twitter. There are super intellectual, intelligent writers who are now exploring who paid off his debt, how did he get all this money. He had gambling debts, a mortgage. He got a lot of money. Nobody knows where it came from. But he's going to be investigated more and more. I feel that tide. He's going to be charged with perjury. He's going to be out at some point soon, within the year. And Clarence Thomas, all I will say is I don't see him well. So you can read into that. I don't see him well. And frankly, I am waiting for Ginny Thomas to be formally investigated, and she has not yet. And if she's not, then it is more proof that the Supreme Court has become crooked. This dark money thing is powerful, so powerful. So the Supreme Court, something needs to be done. I'm not sure what's going to happen yet. I need to do some runes. I didn't do any runes for this reading because I just felt awful yesterday. And it's better today. I have more mobility and less pain. There's a lot of swelling, and I went on antibiotics, okay? And this doesn't have to be on 24/7, so don't, like, oh my God, it's not uncomfortable. It actually feels good. All right. Here's like the bad news, good news from my left ear. The Dems are facing losing voting rights for people, losing infrastructure for people. Roe v. Wade is very challenged. There is gerrymandering. We're all up against this, and it's daunting, right? Not to mention COVID, all right? So we are in daunting times, but here's the but. It's a capital but, not B-U-T-T, B-U-T. In 22, both houses are going to gain Democratic seats. And I've said this before, but I want to say it again. Then Albert Einstein's famous gyroscope quote will start to correct things. The speeding up will correct things. But the fight is on. And there'll be lawsuits and all kinds of stuff. But our president now has a little bit of a fighting spirit. He's annoyed. He's annoyed about abortion. This is a man who's Catholic, and we can see his spirituality. But, he separates church and state, which is what a politician is supposed to do. Even Hillary Clinton's running mate, Senator Kaine, he's Catholic. And he was interviewed on the campaign trail. He said, but politically, the choice should be people's rights. So there you go. So you can be not really love the idea of abortion or promote it, but you can separate. Let that woman be in charge of her own organs and her own body. That's what it comes down to. So what's happening is that the GOP is kind of slowly shooting themselves in the foot, committing political suicide. Very few of them seem to have a forward thinking or that frontal lobe that lets you understand consequences. Just like teenagers don't have a frontal lobe that's developed, so they'll take the car and speed and do all these things. It's the frontal lobe. It's not developed till they're about 21 or 22 years old. Well, a lot of these politicians, I don't know what their frontal lobe is doing, but they don't plan for the future in terms of winning or anyway, they're creating many self-inflicted wounds. But I do want to say, evidently, Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger think about the future. They're thinking about legacy. They're thinking about the future. They're thinking about law and people's rights. So I probably would never vote for them for president, but they're doing good stuff right now, and I am grateful. All right, now we're coming to my least favorite person, and it's between Mitch McConnell and it's between him, but Katie Porter, the fabulous Katie Porter, who gets up in front of Congress with her whiteboard, who's just beyond brilliant. Can't find anybody who doesn't think she's fabulous. But anyway, Katie Porter called him Joe Manchin, Mansion, which is perfect because he is a money guy. He is run by dark money. When you eliminate all common sense and reason and party affiliation, the only way one could really explain Joe Manchin holding up the president, the Democratic president, is dark money. So the dark money really needs to be addressed in a huge way because it has infiltrated the Supreme Court. Everybody's talking about it. But here's the good thing. In 22, Manchin is going to drop. He's not going to have the power. There's going to be a few other Democrats. I'm thinking 2 or 3 extra Democrats in the Senate, maybe 2 in the House. Not sure of the numbers. None of us are great at dates and numbers, but I've been calling him an operative, Joe Manchin. It's like he's a plant. And I read a rumor, I can't verify it, so I have to call it a rumor, that he flew to Kentucky to visit Mitch McConnell. Why would he do that? What are they discussing? Does Mitch want to turn things over to him or talk Joe Manchin into becoming an official Republican because he acts like a Republican? And did you know that Joe Manchin's daughter was an executive, and she has made millions and millions from hiking up the cost of the EpiPen? Yes. Okay. But after 22, Manchin isn't going to be in charge like he is right now. I mean, some people think like he's running the country, and in the weirdest way. I wrote him a tweet and said, just support the president. Can you just support the president? All right. Now, again, in Joe Biden's favor, 200 more people were lifted out of Afghan. And this just keeps happening. So when they said, oh, there's no more coming, he's not going to be, no, it is happening. Good for Joe. Good for Joe Biden. The man has guts. You know, when people are in the vice presidential position, they really don't get to shine. And we're certainly not seeing Kamala Harris shining right now. I'm hoping more to come. Now, I do want to say something about this civil war that we have going on. And it is. We're not in uniforms. Lincoln's not president. But there's a civil war going on. And on the state level, we could see some more violence. I don't know if it'll be as horrific as January 6th, but I did write this down in my notes, so I just want to mention that. All right, now we're going to go into my more spiritual, entertaining segments. This is what I have for you today. Evidence of spirit. I just want to share with you, I had evidence of spirit that was wild. So 3 nights ago, before this, I'm sitting on my sofa, and I look up, and on my purple wall, I see this giant, like, fly or creature, and it was sort of shiny, and I went, whoa, 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 what the hell is it? And it scared me, and it was late at night, and I thought, I can't sleep with this in here. I shut my bedroom door so it couldn't get in there. I did a little spray, and it moved. It dropped onto the floor and went under the couch, and then it ended up near where I'm sitting right now, and it was flailing. And Redson, who's nonviolent except for him having fun with my arm, just sat there and watched it. It was really creepy, and I had to let it go. And I still don't feel good about it. I feel icky about it. I said to myself, I think that's a praying mantis, and I took a picture of it. Well, on Facebook, someone said that's a praying mantis. So I looked up praying mantis because I do like animal spirits, animal guides, and I wanted to see. Well, this is right after I did the meditation for you, my one and only all year. It says the praying mantis teaches you to be a great strategist. It shows you how to remain still, meditating, and planning the course of action. So it just felt like support, validation for the meditation that I shared with all of you. It just felt really good. Then I received a Instagram message. You know, you can hit a little, I don't know, thing and send a private message. And a good friend of mine sent me this message, and it was a black and white picture of an old movie star named Olivia de Havilland. And she was a big movie star, and she was in Gone with the Wind. I think she won the Oscar. I didn't look it up, but she was for Melanie. Anyway, I loved Olivia de Havilland, but here's what I want to share. The entire time I was growing up, I thought my mother looked like Olivia de Havilland. Nobody ever told my mother this, but every time I looked at my mother, especially when she got dressed up and put on makeup, I thought my mother was pretty. So no one has ever said that to me. I have been told Susan Hayward, Naomi Judd, like I can't even think of, but like 4 or 5 famous people I'm told, you look like, oh, Debbie Reynolds I get. It goes on and on, but never Olivia de Havilland. So he emails, I said, Carrie, the minute I saw this picture, I thought it was you. but it wasn't you. It was Olivia de Havilland. So my mother came in to tap me and say hello. It was beautiful. And you know, they will often use other people to send me messages. My dad does it a lot. My mother doesn't stop in very often, so it was very special. And I've been thinking about her a great deal, so she must have felt it. And now kindness on the streets. I have stories. I went to this restaurant, El Coyote, which is very famous on Beverly Boulevard in Los Angeles, and it was featured in the film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I like to go there and pick up their sloppy Mexican food and take it home. So I drove over there and I waited on a bench in front of the restaurant. It was a beautiful day. And this SVU pulled up right in front to park with a meter. And I just watching them park. It was a couple, and it was a black couple. So he parked about, I don't know, almost a foot into the red zone. So I walked up to their window and I said, "You're parked into the red zone and I think you should move back 2 feet so you don't get a ticket." And they did, got out of the car, and they both like, "Thank you, young lady." It was just a really nice moment. Now I'm still sitting out there, and now 2 women come out of El Coyote. They had lunch together, they hugged, they said goodbye, and now one of them is walking by me. And I don't know why I'm telling you this, but most of my experiences are with people of color. Not all, but so tall, elegant, stylish black woman. And she says hello to me. She had black and gray hair. She had fabulous shoes on. So once she said hello to me, I said, "Hello, I really like your shoes." And she stopped. And she said, "These are the most comfortable shoes I've ever had. I have them in every color." And I said, "Well, who made them?" She sits down on the bench next to me and she's looking for the maker. She takes the shoe off, which has straps. It's not like a slip-on, it has straps. She goes, "Oh, it's Zwilly Fly. The company's Fly. They sell them at Zwilly." And she put her shoes back on and we chatted and she went on her way. It was just great. Now I'm moving on. This was just a few days ago. I ran into a Ralph's that I don't hardly ever go to. I needed some cash. So I was going to buy a Coca-Cola and get my cash. And every single self-checkout, there was no cash available. And this cashier, they keep tabs on people at those self-checkouts. They watch you like a hawk. So she walked up to me and said, "There's no cash at any of the checkouts." And I went, "Oh." So I had to stand in line. Well, the lines were really long, but I really needed the $40. So I just sat there with my cola and I said, "Okay, this is like a nice little challenge. Just stand here and be patient." She walks up to me and she says, "How much money do you need?" And I said, "Just $40. And she said, "Come with me, I'll take care of it." She walked me over to her private cashier's thing. I put in my card, I bought the Coke. I said, "That was really cool what you did. I mean, really, thank you. Have a great week, have a safe week." It was just great. See these little things, kindness on the street, thoughtfulness. And then yesterday I had to go to Ralph's and I got on the elevator. There was no one on the elevator. There was a man with groceries and he wasn't sure if I would allow him on the elevator, but the rule at Ralph's is 2 people can be on the same elevator. So I said, "Come on in." So he was friendly and he said, "How's your day going?" And I went, "It's okay." And then I held this up and he went, oh. He goes, "Would you like me to carry your bags to your car?" He was white. The cashier who gave me the $40, she was white. So it's not, I'm not being like discriminatory, but when it's a person of color, I want you guys to know because I think it's meaningful. And it just means we can do this with some acknowledging people, being kind and gentle and thoughtful. We can do this. So quotes. This is from Barack Obama. It is so perfect for my channel and today. So listen to this. Barack said, "Even the smallest act of service, The simplest act of kindness is a way to honor those we lost, a way to reclaim that spirit of unity that followed 9/11. I couldn't think of anything better today than this quote. But I'm going to go on because we are hitting critical mass in this country. You and I and those of us who believe a certain way. Now, I have done this quote before, but I think this is the quote for 2021. This is the quote to create hope. So you're going to hear it again, but I'm going to tell you the background of it. Here's the quote, and then I'm going to tell you the background. Einstein said, "There's something amazing about America's democracy. It's got a gyroscope, and just when you think it's going off the cliff, it rights itself." Now, there's a history here of why he said that, and I want to share it with you because it's very relevant. This quote is when Einstein thought Joseph McCarthy and McCarthyism was destroying America. But after Eisenhower and other honorable Republicans and Edward R. Murrow and other journalists helped bring McCarthy down, Einstein marveled that American democracy had a gyroscope that could right itself. And you know, the McCarthy era, there is a really good movie that stars Robert De Niro that isn't known much, but I think it's powerful, and it's about the McCarthy era. And it's called Guilty by Suspicion. So I can highly recommend that movie if you want to revisit. It's powerful. And Annette Bening plays his estranged wife. A lot of other celebrities in the movie. The McCarthy era it chokes me. It was so bad. People lost careers, they went bankrupt, they committed suicide. And I didn't look it up, but there's this movie that the Breaking Bad star did. Did he get the Oscar? I should have looked this up, but you know who I mean. He did this movie, and it was one word, and it was the name of the writer, and it was about his life during the McCarthy era. Kind of embarrassed. I'll think of it the minute I get off this. And my left ear said to me the other day, and I'm just going to share it with you, and this is the end. Just let go. If you weren't listening to the news, reading, and looking at Twitter or Facebook, you wouldn't be receiving or experiencing fear and anticipatory anxiety. So if you need to, shut it off. Just shut it off for a few days and pretend you don't know what's going on. Clean it out, cleanse, and then come back for the fight. Ram Dass said, "Be here now." The Stoics, the ancient Stoics said, "Stay in the present moment." And of course, Eckhart Tolle, or Tolle, I've never known exactly how you say his last name. He wrote The Power of Now, which I found difficult to read, by the way. I loved Ram Dass, Be Here Now. That's actually the book that started me on a path many years ago, and I believe other people feel that way too. All right, here we go. This will be fun with my contraption. I say, make peace, make memories, take a silent moment for the fallen. We're still safe. And I'll see you soon. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.